What's up, guys? Welcome back to Culture Cantina. I'm one of your hosts, Rocky Kari.
And I'm Shrikari.
And today we are reviewing Spider-Man No Way Home.
So Spider-Man No Way Home is the third movie in the John Watts trilogy, starring Tom Holland. This is probably the most anticipated movie of the year, in my opinion.
Probably,
Do you agree?
yes, and probably post-COVID too.
Post-COVID, yeah.
Because before it was like Endgame and Rise of Skywalker were the two big ones we were pumped for. After that, there hasn't been really any crazy big release.
And it's been crazy this fall. Like, we've had so many Marvel movies. We had Eternals, Shang-Chi, Black Widow, and now we finally get this movie to end the year off in 2021. It's awesome. So many people were going to see it. The trailers were hype. Tickets sold out like crazy. It's awesome. The hype is real.
Keep going to the theaters, everybody.
Yep,
Let's save the theaters.
So we're going to do a spoiler-free version first. So we're not going to talk about spoilers. We'll put up a warning when we do talk spoilers. But first, we want to do a completely spoiler-free review of Spider-Man No Way Home.
So for me, I loved this movie. I think that... But before I say that, I will say that the first half of the movie, I was very scared. I was like, once Act 2 started and the ball started rolling, I was really nervous. It felt like I didn't know if they were going to stick the landing. But the second half of the movie, onwards, perfect. All of the puzzle pieces fit together and they really stuck the landing. I think this is, no pun intended, marvelous movie. I have not had this much fun at the theater in a long time. Like, sitting next to, like, you and our parents. We saw it with our parents, too. And, like, being a part of the hype, like, it was unbelievable. And the thing that I love about Homecoming and Far From Home is that it really is about a boy becoming a man. And I think that they really hit the nail on that with Tom Holland. It's a new chapter in his story of becoming an adult, from the Spider-Boy into the Spider-Man. And I think they really nailed it. Without going into spoilers, I think it was just perfect, the way they handled the character and the supporting characters around him. So for me, loved this movie.
Yeah, for me, love this movie. It was a great, fantastic film. I just think they just knew what they wanted to do, and they just executed it so well. Again, the hype was crazy for this film. I agree with you. I also, like, it started, you kind of know where the plot's going, but I'm just like, is it gonna land? Is it gonna stick the landing? And it does. It really does. And, like, I think Tom Holland in this film, like, his character arc is just fantastic. I think they just tied the bow on that just beautifully. The supporting characters were all great. It was, acting across the board was fantastic. Again, the characters were, I think, really sold this movie, and the development and the messaging, and it just really hit home. I agree with you. The whole thing is entertaining. I literally don't think I've had a movie, maybe next to Endgame and Infinity War, they're the closest, where my heart was, like, beating constantly. Like, I'm just like, what's going to happen next? Like, where are we going? Like, oh my gosh, this is happening.
Really on the edge of your seat.
For sure. Oh my god, the action sequences were great. It was really funny. I think the comedy, I don't think they overextended it.
Yes.
Marvel movies can sometimes do too much comedy. I think they did a good job and it made sense. So the comedy was great too. The emotional parts were great as well. It was just a fantastic movie. I encourage everyone who's a Marvel fan. I mean, you've already seen it by now. So congratulations for here. If you're not a Spider-Man fan, I mean, if you're not a big Marvel person, I think you could still enjoy it. But I still think it's a very enjoyable and entertaining movie. And I think for Spider-Man fans, this hits home. Like,
no pun intended.
It came home. Like, so yeah, fantastic film. Loved it. Well done, Marvel. You did it. You stuck the landing.
For my rating, I think I would give it a 9. 9 out of 10. It could be a 9.5. But I think the first half, maybe I just need to rewatch it again, but I think I would give it a 9. I think it's an amazing movie, and I think they really did a great job with it. So, I don't want to get into spoilers, but yeah, I would say a 9.
Yeah, 9 out of 10. I know we're brothers, but we have a lot in common, and this is another one of them. So, 9 out of 10. I think the first half, like, I'm a math guy, so, like, first half I'd give it an 8. Second half was a 10. Average 9. So it was like, I'd give it a solid 9. It was a fantastic film. I definitely really want to watch this again.
Yes.
It really, again, the emotions in it and some of the decisions they made just were really good, and they really hit me. And, like, there were times where I was tearing up. There were times where the movie moved me, and I gotta give a movie a 9 if it moves me like that. So, yeah, Spider-Man No Way Home, 9 out of 10.
So now we're going to get into our spoiler part of the video. So if you've not seen No Way Home, leave now and then come back once you've seen it. So, who are the two standout roles that you like really, really liked after watching this movie?
The two standout roles were Doc Ock and Green Goblin.
And also, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, baby.
They made it.
They made it.
If you're watching now, they did it. They made it. They were here. They're on screen. They did it. Let's go.
It was magical. It really was. I really loved it. But I think I want, because you said this in the car on our way back about the supporting role thing.
Yeah.
You should say yeah.
So we saw the trailers, right? We knew that all the villains were coming. The multiverse was involved. It opened up the chance for them to bring Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield back as Spider-Man. And I was really excited about this, but I was really worried at the same time because I didn't want them to be in this film just to be in this film. I wanted them to have purpose. And the reason I think this movie is so good is Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man have so much purpose in this movie. They did not forget about Tom Holland.
No.
They were like, we need to complete his character arc and really tie it all together. Because we've been building up from this since Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yep.
Is him being comfortable and happy with who he is and accepting his gift and moving on. And the fact that they were in the movie, they really like brought him there.
Yep.
Their banter was so good. Their relationship was so good. When Aunt May died, which we'll talk about that, they like supported him there. When he wanted to kill Green Goblin, they were like, no, like killing is not the answer. Like
with very little words.
It was showing you. It was
show not tell.
Yes, it was fantastic. So Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, it was amazing and just fantastic to see them in this film. And there was purpose. They brought Tom Holland's Spider-Man to the home run, and it was so good. Like so. Just amazing that they were in it.
Yeah,
what was your reaction?
No, yeah, I think that they were implemented really well. I think the writers, they did a fantastic job with looking at Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and his characteristics and Andrew Garfield's and Tom Holland's, because they're all slightly different. They're not all the same.
Yep.
So taking those characteristics and combining them for the second half of this movie was perfect. Like, especially in their whole banter about right after Aunt May dies, I think that was amazing. Like, they really hit the nail on the head with how Tom Holland's Spider-Man worked with the other two. It was perfect.
Yeah, for sure.
But I will say that one thing I really wanted to talk about with this movie is the whole thing about Peter, Ned, and MJ and college. Because the best thing about Homecoming and Far From Home is that they're high school movies disguised as superhero movies. And this movie is also a high school movie, at least the theme, the main theme behind it, is a high school movie disguised as a superhero movie about a kid who just wants to get into a good college, go to a good college with his friends. But because he's Spider-Man, he can't achieve that. But he does the selfless thing and makes sure that his friends get the ending that they deserve, which is very beautiful. I think they just did a great job with that. And like you said, Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire help him to get to that point. Like, that's perfect. It's not just like, hey, it's our show now. Like, no, it was perfect. I love that.
I love the ending. And in my spoiler free, like when I talked about how emotional it was, that part really got me because I thought he was gonna come in and convince them, like, hey, like we had all this history and I'm Spider-Man and like let's be friends and best friend and girlfriend again.
But
he
like, rehearsed.
Yeah, and like what he rehearsed. But he was like, no, like they're happy now and. That was such a selfless thing to do, and it was just so powerful, and I really thought that was amazing.
Talking about the emotions, though, Aunt May, I think it was a very smart decision to kill her off in this movie. I think it really puts Peter's character in a very low point so that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire can help build him up, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think that was really cool.
I did not see that coming at all.
Yeah,
like,
me neither.
I was surprised that they did that.
Yeah.
It was very emotional, and I really liked that she was the one who told him the famous line, with great power comes great responsibility. And I thought, I saw it coming when she started saying it, and I was like, oh, this is going to be cheesy. But, like, in, like, Lily dying in her arms, like, it was, like, it brought me in. Like, it hooked me in. And I think it tied back, again, with Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire being in this. Like, them all hearing that line, too. And I really like that it came from Aunt May and not Uncle Ben in this scenario. Mm-hmm. It was just a unique kind of differentiator, and they made this Spider-Man a little bit different. So I appreciate that a lot.
Before we end, I do want to talk about the villains, though.
Oh, we have to talk about the villains.
My boy, Doc Ock, was great in this movie. I am a huge Doc Ock fan. Like, he is my favorite a supervillain, and I think he was awesome in this movie. Alfred Molina was perfect in Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man 2, and I'm so happy that we got parts of this movie where he's the villain towards the beginning, and he was the first one to become good, because he and Peter are very much alike in the whole, like, that they're trying to do good, you know? So, I really liked that what he contributed to the movie, and I liked that he came in at the end to help them out. That was really awesome. I really enjoyed that.
No, yeah, I also think that the villains were great across the board. I mean, again, Doc Ock was great. I liked how they brought him to kind of be the neutralizer. Like, he was kind of like we can be good people, and we're just, it's unfortunate what happened to us, but we can, be okay. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, no, I think Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin, crazy to see him in this movie, like, him with, like, the old school, hoodie,
and, like, so dope.
And, like, just, like, seeing him again, and the fight with Peter at the end, and, he's, like, still has that revenge that he wants to get him for killing Aunt May, and it was such a good fight.
When he says, he's like, so I can kill you myself.
Oh, my God,
that was
so
awesome.
Good. And, like, the part where, like, Tobey Maguire comes in and, like, stops him, and then he gets stabbed. It's like, oh, my God, this is crazy. Like, so, it was awesome. I also think the believability of, like, them, like, capturing all the villains, like, you do feel bad for them.
Yes, in those cages.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, man, like, I did kind of side with Peter there. I'm like, we're really just going to send them off to, like, die? Like, I don't know. I think the movie really does a good job making you feel bad for them. So, yep. I thought that was really believable.
And showing that Peter is a true hero.
Yeah, for sure. He wants to actually help people.
Yeah.
Also, I want to mention, you brought up that there was a prediction that you had that potentially Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield would show up in the middle and not the end at the climax. And they did. And it was great. Because, go ahead. Like,
I can't take the prediction for myself. My boy Ethan, who's who's a film student with me, he thought of that theory, so shout out to Ethan, because when he told me that, I'm like, no, I want that. Okay. So, yeah.
Well, then it just worked. Their banter was so good. Their chemistry was so good. Like, they were cracking jokes with each other, and they tied it all well. And this is when I go back to the characters. Like, they knew Tobey Maguire's character so well. They knew Andrew Garfield. They knew Tom Holland. They just tied it all, and then it was just so amazing, man. Mm-hmm. We don't want to make this video too long. Just know that there's like 5 other things I'm thinking about that I want to talk about, but we want to keep it short.
But one thing we should talk about before we wrap up is the 2 post-credit scenes. So it looks like not Tom Hardy's Venom, but a version of Venom will be in the MCU to connect with Spider-Man in some way. Mm-hmm. That's great. Venom's awesome. Spider-Man 3, the original Spider-Man 3's biggest flaw was that it had too many villains. So having just one-on-one Venom and Peter.
That'd be amazing. That'd be really awesome. Can you imagine Spider-Man 4 with just Spider-Man and Venom? Like, that'd be crazy.
That'd be awesome.
Oh, so good.
And then, do you want to talk about Multiverse of Madness?
Yeah, and then we got pretty much a mini trailer for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness coming out in March. And that just looks hype as well. It tied into, like, What If, the show on Disney+. And Wanda was in it. It was crazy. So that's also very exciting. It's just awesome. Like, great 2 and post-credit scenes, and just to top off a fantastic film.
The future looks bright for Tom Holland's Spider-Man, but I think for this trilogy and this storyline, they stuck the landing, and I think we gotta commend them for that hard.
Fantastic. It was an incredible film. Go out, I mean, again, if you're here, you've seen it, and we hope you enjoyed it too. If you didn't, let us know in the comments what you thought, or if you liked it, what were things we didn't talk about that you think were just amazing or not good. Like, just talk about the movie. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Really excited to talk about the rest of the world, because right now it's just been us.
Yeah, right, for sure.
So, but thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more, and we will see you guys very soon. Thanks
so much. Take care, everyone. Thanks.
Bye.